Hello, my lovelies, and welcome to Where the Road Rises, Law, Lessons, Legacy, with me, your host, Eileen Curlin Walsh. The legacy piece of our show is steeped in storytelling, and our guest today wonderfully advances our legacy theme. Ellen Cleary is a producer for That's What She Said, a live storytelling event where women share real personal stories that invite us to confess, connect, and celebrate. I attended That's What She Said in Naperville in April this year because a friend was speaking, and I was dazzled by the quality and scale of the production. I was also moved to laughter, tears, and deep reflection by the storytelling. There was energy and emotion, power, vulnerability, and healing on the stage as women shared their stories and we listened spellbound. When I met the executive director, Jeanette, and producers Ellen and Lisa, and realized the show as a traveling platform, I knew we had to bring it to us right here on Chicago's South Side. Hence, That's What She Said, Chicago Southland, presented by Curlin Walsh Law. Welcome, Ellen.
Oh, thank you. You just made me so happy.
Oh my gosh. And
that's exactly what we want to accomplish.
Yes.
When, we want that deep connection with our storytellers. So I'm so glad you had that feeling.
Thank you. So let's start with your story, Ellen. How did you discover That's What She Said? Why did you become involved? And what was it about the format that seduced you?
Ooh, well, I discovered it like many of us do, a bit on accident. I had a side hustle, and I was looking to connect with more women like me, and a friend of mine put me in touch with Jeanette Jerzyk, who you just mentioned, I was hoping to connect with a lot of women in Junior League and other organizations that I could connect with. And instead, I discovered this amazing storytelling opportunity. Jeanette connected me and said, "You need to come to one of our shows." And I said, "Okay, I will." And I'd already met a cast down in Bloomington. I went to the Champagne show, and like you, I was dazzled. I was dazzled because it wasn't just a comedy show at all. It wasn't like we were all calling our therapists from the lobby kind of thing, But there were people sharing real stories about their lives, real stories about where they'd been and where they were now, what a pivotal moment was for them. And some of these pivotal moments are massive, One woman talked about losing her husband, and how she struggled with her identity as a Muslim woman without a mate. Another woman talked about taking care of her own mother, and I related to that. Her mother had a dementia situation. Mine's fine, but she found out that she too could be carrying the same gene. And what does that do? How does that reflect on that? It was just very powerful, and some of the stories were hilarious, absolutely hilarious. And I was like, okay, this is something that stays with you. It's not that moment, and we all need a big laugh, we all need a good cry, but it's this memorable thing that seems to shift DNA. It seems to shift who we are, and it seems to break down the barriers of, oh, this is my perfect life, and trust a group of people to hear what really is going on and how you got here.
That's a big claim, shift DNA. I believe it. I believe it.
Yeah.
It's such a powerful forum. So for our viewers who have never attended a That's What She Said show.
Yet,
yes, indeed. We are going to be inviting you. Can you just tell them a little bit about the night and what to expect?
Sure. So we bring together women from the community. And that's really two important pieces. These are women's voices that we're raising, and they come together as individual people who've got something they think they want to say. And over a period of weeks, 8-10 weeks, we turn them into individuals with something to say, into a powerful cast of storytellers. In the case of That's What She Said, Chicago Southland, we'll have 9 speakers. We added one because it's just been amazing. The response has been great. And we do fun theater exercises that I hate. It's not my thing. Lisa's great at it. But I hate it. But we do fun theater exercises to get people there, and we share. And we spend time sitting around a table, bigger than this one because there's more of us, and we just tell some of the stories of our lives as they develop the story of their life that they want to tell, that they want to share. And by the time we get them to stage, right, they have been telling each other that story over and over and over again. Not repetitively, but honing it in, finding out where the power moments are, finding out where they bury the lead, understanding where somebody's going to laugh or where the audience is going to gasp when they realize what's about to happen. And it becomes this really amazing support circle. If you've been to other storytelling events, and I assume you have been based on your expertise and legacy and background.
Yeah.
Mine is the same. Not quite the same, but yeah. But, you know, individual storytellers get up there and they tell a story and it's wonderful. And you're like, oh, that was great. Our cast sits on stage together because you've been telling your story in somebody's virtual living room or, you know, for a while. And then when you get on stage, you sit there together and it's like you're going to tell something personal, powerful, potentially very vulnerable, maybe super embarrassing. And your community that you've built up is sitting there with you. So on the night of show, when you've been sitting here talking to this group of people and getting very comfortable with how you're going to present yourself, they're just right behind you as you sort of look directly into the camera, in this case, or right into the audience, and you're able to connect in a different kind of way.
So that's what separates you from the TED Talk, which is a very powerful forum also, but you are alone there on the stage.
You
with
are.
the spotlight on just you.
Yeah, and you've got, like, TED Talk is a great example. We like that format, but one of the things we do is we have the, you know, people holding their microphones. They don't wear lobs. We want them deeply connected with the act of storytelling. We give them a script that they've written. We have a certain way of presenting it, so it's very familiar and very comfortable. But also it's not reliant on how well can you remember, how many, you know, it's reliant on being fully present there and telling your story. So we work hard on things like that. I've got some tricks if you ever need some. But yeah.
I love that. I attended many moons ago in my life as a litigator an event on how to present well to audience or to juries. And
they're a tough audience.
Yes, and the presenter said something that I've never forgotten, and that was, there are no prizes for memorization. So be able to tell the story powerfully, be able to speak powerfully, but there's no harm in using your notes as long as you look up from them. So I love what you just said, because one of the things that I think would be a little terrifying about a TED Talk is, what if under the spotlight, under the pressure, your mind goes blank? That blankness under stress has been likened to driving down Michigan Avenue blindfolded.
Can you even imagine?
Who wants to do that?
No, you're 100% right, because it's not about that, right? And like, we've all connected with somebody who's just had a terrible moment publicly, but I don't want that to be on my stage. I want them to connect because somebody on my cast, in my cast, looks like them, or sounds like them, has a voice like them, has a story like theirs, a background like theirs. It's really important that way. And so, it isn't about the theatrics of it. It's why we encourage people to be part of that. And it's also why we do try to make it very special for our cast members as well too. We're creating a sisterhood, an alumni network, and that's been also very gratifying too.
I love that. And you mentioned an example of the woman who had lost her husband and how that was difficult in her culture. Could you tell us another couple of the types of stories a woman tell, and if they, you know, a couple maybe of your favorites?
Sure. Well, I think you know this, but I was on this stage in 2024 in Naperville. I had to step in. We lost somebody who was going through a very difficult time in her family and had to step out, so that was interesting. So my story was actually about the relationship that I had with my sister, who died about 30 years ago now. She had Down syndrome, but I had never told, people knew I had a sister, but I'd never told that story about how it impacted me and why I am the way I am today because of that relationship. There were people who I would say were some of my best friends, you know, who were in the audience, and to a one that came up and said, okay, now I know who you are. It was a big deal for me to step up and trust them. The gal who came after me, and again, my story wasn't particular. It was good for me, and it was fun for me in certain parts. But it was my sister dies in the story, so it's hardly an uplifting from that way. The gal who went after me talked about her first at-home bikini wax.
Ah. So from one
so
extreme
yeah,
to the
but we were
other.
trying, but that's our lives, right?
Yeah.
Our lives have arcs, and we work that way. So another gal talked about, her experience introducing her parents to her husband's parents during the earthquake in Nepal, in Kathmandu. Just by happenstance. And it was so interesting culturally. It was so interesting, just like, oh, we've all been introduced to the in-laws. It was very, very fascinating
Not
stuff.
usually in an earthquake.
Yeah, it was a great story. So yeah, they stick with you for different reasons. They resonate with you for different reasons. And I'd also say some days, one, you'll remember because, I was putting on this necklace today and I was thinking about when I got it, and it's nothing too special, but I was thinking about our friend Jen, her story about her dad's earrings,
Yes.
And it was just like, things bring you back. And that's what you want to do. We connect in all different ways.
Absolutely. And you talked about losing your sister,
Yeah.
Ellen, and that you told that story. But it's often in our hardest moments and the fires that we do have to walk through in life that we learn our greatest lessons.
100%.
And what I took away from the Naperville show was each story had a lesson. There was learning. There was some sort of transformation that the storyteller went through. So if we walk through the fires and we learn to stand up on our shoes, that's a terrific lesson for those out there who might have to one day go through what you went through.
100%. And the other thing I'd say is, whether we talk about it or not, we're all going through it, right? And breaking down those barriers. That becomes really powerful. Being willing to say to somebody, even in a funny story, I keep talking about my dad's hands that have suddenly appeared, this year. I'm like, oh God, and my friend Nancy was on stage this last year, and she was talking about like how she's finding her dad and her sister, and the, and the challenges of aging. It's like, yeah, I hear that. In the moment it is, but when we're willing just to talk about it, why not?
Story.
I know.
And Ellen is referring to one of the stories from April,
Yeah.
Naperville. Nancy spoke about the surprises of aging, and that didn't used to happen. And the audience was roaring because it's what many members of the audience was connecting to.
And if you haven't gotten there yet, you're going to get there. If you're wondering, why is my mom acting like this now? If you're a younger person in the audience, like, oh, okay, that's interesting. You also, if you hear the story of a young person, you get their frame of reference. Oh, that's what it's like to be 22 right now. I'd forgotten.
Yes. What about selecting the storytellers? What is your process there, and what are you looking for in their voice and their journey?
Oh, that's a great question. We're looking for a cast. Again, I talked about that, but a cast that represents the community, so it looks like the community, it sounds like the community. I don't want a cast of blue-haired, blue-eyed, blonde-haired, 40-something, moms who are, riding carpool. I want that to be a very, not just, I want diversity, but it's not for the sake of diversity. It's for that it looks like who we run into every day. So that when you run into somebody at a PTA meeting who looks a little bit different from you for whatever reason, you're like, oh, you're not thinking, I wonder what we have in common. You know what you have in common. You're at a PTA meeting. You've got kids in the school. I'd rather have the gal who checks you out at the Dollar Tree than the mayor on stage, because we run into more people at the Dollar Tree. And
Plus, that's the democracy of our voice, the democracy of storytelling.
Yes.
Because the checkout, the cashier's story is every bit as valuable as the CEO, as the president, as the mayor.
Absolutely.
The farmer and the king. It's no story is more valuable than another. I love that. I absolutely love that. And what kind of transformation do you see on stage for the storytellers, for the listeners?
transformation for the storytellers happens over time. We met with the Southland cast just recently, and there was a surprising amount of crying going on in the room.
I can imagine. Yeah.
Well, people were like, I'm in a safe space and I can be vulnerable. That's not where they're going to end up, but they have to go through something, and you have to go through things to transform. The audience transformation is something that we find out on night of show, really, because like we've been laughing with Nancy, with Candace, with other people the whole time, but we don't know, where the audience is going to find those things. We've been crying with people, and just being like, oh, this is going to be a tough part. I hope she gets through it. For weeks at that point, we don't know where the audience is going to connect. And it's interesting because some things are obvious. Like you just know that the waxing story is going to get some laughs in a certain spot because it's unbelievable. But where people connect really, we're like, oh, whatever. For me, the biggest transformation when I got off stage, I had a lot of people coming up to me. I had a mom come up to me, and she said, I need to talk to you. And I said, oh, okay, what's going on? And she's like, my name is, my son, I think Gabriel, has Down syndrome. I said, oh, great. Tell me about him. Because of course I want to know. I care about that stuff. And she said, you changed me. And I said, okay, I hope for the better, because I'm trying to make light and there's a lot going on in the room. And she said, no, I have known what it's like to have the challenges of raising a child with Down syndrome, and I champion him. I know what I do. I learned today what my other son is going through. I had no idea. And now I think I can be a better parent to both of them because I have some eyes and some insight there. And so like, people were coming up to people, they come up to you in the lobby and they're like, I need to talk to you, whatever. And some of that transformation is one-on-one, some of it's instantaneous, and some of it, again, it hits you when it hits you.
And it's the power of storytelling, the tenets, there's such tremendous science going on, the neurocoupling and the mirroring and us seeing ourselves in the story and being able to put ourselves in the story and feeling the emotions of it. It's such a powerful thing. And Dolly Parton has a great line that no one cries alone in my company, and laughter through tears is my favorite emotion, and everything was there. I would say there were men in the audience, but it is predominantly women. There was barely a dry eye, and everybody was creased laughing at certain points. So it just, everyone was feeling, everyone was empathizing. And I think that's another of the great tenets of storytelling, is that we get to understand an experience that we don't have, the diversity that you're speaking of. It really packs such a powerful punch, and is good for us as a society. We were born to be empathetic. We're placental creatures, so it's good for us, especially in today's kind of divisive times, to remember that we are all connected and we are each other's keepers.
And we're more alike than we are different, even on at times when it feels like we might not be. It's that connection, the story that I can see myself in you, that helps develop that empathy. I mean, empathy starts with self ultimately, don't you think? I mean, it just does.
Absolutely. Now, tell our viewers about our story, about the origin of That's What She Said Chicago Southland, that we are bringing right here to our own backyard.
Well, do you mean the origin of how you were mesmerized?
Yes.
I don't want to talk about your mesmerized. No, it was great. I knew that you were interested in coming to the show, and that through your office was the legacy, and the storytelling was such an important part of what you give to your clients. So to have you there in the audience, and it's fun. We've got some great pictures. You're one of those, like, oh, I'm here, I'm in this. It was great. But we were talking immediately after the show, and you were just like, yeah, this is exactly, it's not just a legacy of, it's part of your legacy too now, making sure that you are providing this opportunity for the women of our community, and frankly the men of our community, to connect with each other. You are right, our shows tend to be 80-20, female to male, but men are welcome. Men are absolutely welcome, and in fact, I would encourage them to come, because for a couple of reasons. One, women make a lot of decisions in the household. They are an awful lot of make buying decisions. So, it's a great opportunity for people to connect on that level. But in addition to that, we learn more about each other.
Yes.
I mean, and if someone wants to understand the women in his life, they can do no better than listening to 9 women tell them about their life in a format that you're not asking questions. You're being let in. You're being let in on the secret. And so, from there we built out an opportunity. We've done this in a record amount of time. I am so excited. And I'll be honest, I was a little dubious about the Gaelic Park venue, because we're used to these grandiose theaters and the whole thing. I mean, this is so Chicago Southland. Like, is there anything more
Chicago South than an Irish community center?
Exactly. And, we are just going to have the best time. We're able to create this sort of, it's not quite a pub, but, that kind of pub atmosphere where it's like, I'm just going to get here and I'm going to share with you. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. And it's so Southside. It's so amazing. Right. So our storytellers are coming from all over. We've got folks from Oak Lawn and Orland Park, just all over the place around here, and I'm excited.
So I was very excited when I discovered that That's What She Said was a traveling platform, and I so wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to sponsor it when I knew that was an opportunity, and just to bring it here to us on the South Side was really special. And we looked at several platforms. Gaelic Park had the availability, they had the capacity for us, and as you say, Gaelic Park is steeped in the South Side, and what's more appropriate for storytelling than the Irish Centre. So we're really excited to bring it to Gaelic Park, and there are sponsorship opportunities. So what I believe all the speakers have been chosen at this point, but what other opportunities are there for the community to become involved?
Well, there's a couple of ways. As you know, every one of our shows benefits a nonprofit organization, and we've chosen Beds Plus for that, doing tremendous work with people who are experiencing housing insecurities. So one thing we're going to do is we're going to have donation boxes on the night of the show where people can bring things to help the people in their toughest times. It's a simple thing like a tube of toothpaste, a bottle of shampoo, whatever it might be, and do that. So simple acts like that. We'll be having those right at the door there, and you'll get a chance to learn more about that community that day. For other people, simple come join us.
Yes.
Come join us.
Come join us.
And you can be in the audience with us. Be mesmerized. We have general admission seats as well as VIP tables. Our VIP tables, people are going to be able to decorate. It's a great opportunity for a business or a bunco group, to get a table together and do something a little bit different, decorate it, do their own thing.
And speaking of business opportunity for our business viewers, we do have lots of sponsorships. So
at lots of different levels too.
Different levels.
Yeah.
So if you're a small at-home business, there's an opportunity. If you're a large corporation, we have opportunities for you too. So do contact us, and that brings us right to what is the best way for somebody who wants to tell their story, maybe at an additional platform, someone who wants to sponsor, or someone who wants to buy tickets. What's the best way for them to contact us?
Should I give my cell phone out? No, I'm kidding. I'm thinking, we have a website that you can visit. It's Chicago Southland. That's what. The She Said Project, Chicago Southland. It's long, and I use a code most of the time. ChicagoSouthland.SheSaidProject.com, and we also are on Facebook under That's What She Said, Chicago Southland, and everything's connected on there. Working out a whole bunch of stuff. But if you connect with me on any of those platforms, you can also email me, and I don't know if we do show notes or not, but I'm happy to make that available to folks as well.
Lovely. And we will get that information up on the screen. That's been fabulous. Thank you so much, Ellen, for your insight. Thank you, viewers, for watching. If you are interested in this platform, and I do hope you'll come join us, you can contact Ellen. Just look for That's What She Said, and you're going to find Eventbrite. You're going to find the tickets, or you can always call me at Curlin Walsh Law. Until next time on Where the Road Rises, goodbye.